Today is Friday, August. Yeah, I got to get my glasses on. I think it's August 6th. Let me double check. Yep, Friday, August 6th. Good morning. Coming to you live from the Rising Eagle Studios here at the Warrior Healing Center in Sierra Vista, Arizona. I am Michael Zehr, as you know, and today my special guest interview is with veteran Lanny Cope. Lanny, thank you, sir, for joining us so much.
Well, thank you for
Fist
having
bump,
me. Appreciate
handshake.
it. All right.
Great. Okay, so what I would like to ask our viewers to do is while you're watching, hopefully live, and if you have any questions for myself or for Lanny, please type them in the comment section and I will see them and we will be able to answer your questions. I always forget to do that, so I'm trying to get better at it. Okay, so here we go. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where it gets started at. Lanny, where'd you come from? Where's home?
Well, home actually was Phoenix. I came there when I was probably about 4 years old. My parents moved us from Chicago, and so I grew up in Phoenix.
Okay.
And then after I retired from the Marine Corps and also from my civilian employment, moved up and lived in Payson for about 7 years.
Okay.
And then moved down to Sierra Vista. I'd always liked the Sierra Vista area, particularly from my college days. And we would come down from Arizona State and visit some of our classmates who lived in Bisbee. It was always an enjoyable place, and so we decided to locate here, and we really loved Sierra Vista.
Oh, great. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But another thing I wanted to ask you about is you went to high school in Phoenix?
I went to high school and grade school in Phoenix.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Phoenix Union High School.
Phoenix Union. Okay. I know it well. It used to be they had the Phoenix Union, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was like their school system. I think it was like...
It was Phoenix Union High School.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix Union High School District.
Right, district, yeah.
Right.
Because I went to Alhambra, so I was...
Oh, did you go to that?
Yeah,
Well, I was on the faculty at Maryvale when
Maryvale?
it opened. Right.
Yeah.
And, of course, Alhambra opened the same year, so there was quite a rivalry started at that time.
Yeah. So what year did you graduate?
From high school?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see. Geronimo was still a young pup down here. But, no, I graduated in 1951 from high school.
Okay. And then when you enlisted in service, I'm guessing that was from Phoenix then as well?
Yeah, I was in college, and this was, of course, right in the end of the Korean War. And we had all had to take ROTC, Army Air Force. And I didn't really like having to get up at 7:40 in the morning on Tuesday and Thursdays to go out and march. So a friend of mine says, I got a great deal for us. It's called the Platoon Leaders Class. And all we have to do is sign up for it. And then when we graduate and get our degree, we can also be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. So I said, well, gee, that sounds pretty good. And
Wow.
I signed it up, did 12 weeks in the summer, which was officer candidate school. Got up a little bit earlier than 7:40.
And where was that at?
That was at Quantico, Virginia.
Quantico, Virginia. Okay. And that school was again for how long?
It was a 12-week officer candidate school.
Okay. And then after that?
After that, it was commissioned in 1955.
At what rank? Second lieutenant?
Second lieutenant.
Okay.
And then went to the basic school at Quantico, and then was assigned to Marine Aircraft Group 36 at El Toro in California, and I was a communications officer.
Now, what was your MOS there? When you say communications officer, I mean, like, where did you go for your AIT training and stuff like that? Or is it different for officers than it is for enlisted?
Well, the training is a little bit different. I went to communication officer school at Quantico also, which is a schoolhouse of the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
And,
I got you.
So I finished up that and went to El Toro, and then when I was released from active duty, I went right into the reserve program and became an engineer officer, and then had different assignments. And my last one was I was on active duty, and I was the G3 Alpha of 1MAF, and we were planning for Desert Storm at the time.
Okay.
And then they caught up with me and said, gosh, you've got your 30 years in, and now it's time to go home.
So your first duty station, then you're saying, was in California.
Right.
Where again?
It was at El Toro.
El Toro.
In Santa Ana.
And then what happened right after that? And how long were you there for?
I was there for about a year and a half, and then I was released to inactive duty in Phoenix. But I went right into the Ninth Engineer Company.
And where's that located?
That's in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, okay.
And then I worked my way through there. I ultimately became the commanding officer of the unit. I was one of the few individuals who enlisted in that unit and then commanded it. And that was kind of a thrill to do that. And then I did different things with the Marine Corps on active duty. I sometimes would be involved with computers, with the engineering aspects of the Marine Corps and things like that.
So when you went into Phoenix and you were in again, it was the active reserve?
Active reserve.
Okay, active reserve. And you did that again for how long?
For the rest of my tour.
For the rest?
Up to 30-some years.
Up to 30. But you did go back and forth per active? Can you explain a little bit about how that worked?
I went back and forth on active duty. I was fortunate because I was in schools. I was teaching and I could get time off. And so I was back on active duty, like I say, with computer science school. I also was involved with the Navy Seabees. I was their brigade advisor for the United States, which was really an interesting experience because I was stationed out of Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida? Okay.
And that was an interesting experience. So I had quite a varied career.
Can you share a little bit about what it was like working there in Tampa with the Seabees?
The Seabees are a great organization. I just thoroughly enjoyed being assigned to them. What the hierarchy is that there's a Seabee Reserve Brigade for the United States, and the brigade is entitled to one military advisor, a lieutenant colonel, and that was me. And then the various regiments had one Marine major and one Marine staff NCO. And basically the responsibility was defensive tactics because the Seabees' motto is we build, we fight.
Right.
And didn't have to worry about the building because they were just tremendous individuals. But the fighting part, we had to teach them defensive tactics, how to fire a weapon, how to fire a machine gun, how to throw a hand grenade and things such as that. And but just working with them was great because they were probably as good a Marine as anybody that I'd ever met.
I was going to ask you if that was if the Seabees were in a branch of the Marine Corps.
No, the Seabees, that's the United States Navy.
That's what I thought,
yeah,
but
it's our construction battalions.
Right.
And they often are a little bit older than the average trooper. And so there's a saying: "Is be nice to that Seabee, he might be your grandfather."
It's one of the things about the Seabees. I remember watching the John Wayne movie, the Fighting Seabees, I think that's what it was called.
That was it.
And great movie. But I never really knew much about, like what it stood for and the traditions because I was a kid at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like to ask some of these questions because maybe some of our viewers don't know this. So that's why I like to go in a little bit of detail for it.
Well, as you bring up a bit of humor there, the Fighting Seabees with John Wayne. My first encounter with the Seabees on active duty, the Admiral was giving all of the staff officers their assignments. And he got to me and he said, "Now, Colonel Cope," he says, "I want you to do something this evening." He said, "I want you to watch the Fighting Seabees with John Wayne because it's on Channel 5. And then tomorrow you can give us a report." And he was pulling my chain, obviously. But when the Admiral said that, all I said was, "Yes, sir." Well, the next day it got around to my turn and the Admiral said, "Well, Colonel, tell us about the Fighting Seabees." And I said, "Sir," I said, "that was a great movie and they did great things and just a tremendous organization." I said, "However," I said, "one teaching point is that you don't charge a tank full of gasoline with a bulldozer. It doesn't work very well."
Well, that's the difference between Hollywood and real life. They have to,
they do their thing.
Have to make it dramatic.
Exactly. Yeah, they do that.
So tell us a little bit about where you went after Tampa, Florida.
Well, after Tampa, I came back to Phoenix, and then was called back on active duty, and I was with 1 MAF over at Camp Pendleton. And I was the G3 Alpha.
And what is that?
That was plans and operations. I was basically responsible for developing the mount-out plan for the mechanized engineer group that was out of 29 Palms.
Oh,
And
okay.
actually, the plan that we developed was used in Desert Storm. It was sort of interesting to watch how it unfolded in the news because I said, I think I know what's going to happen next.
Right.
And guess what? I was right.
It would happen.
It happened just
Wow.
the way we put it. So that was sort of a thing that I remember and was proud of.
And where did you go after there?
Well, I retired.
You retired?
The Marine Corps says after 30 years you have to retire.
And what rank were you at?
I retired at full colonel.
Full colonel.
And,
Okay.
Then when Desert Storm broke out, I called a friend of mine, headquarters Marine Corps, and volunteered to come back on active duty.
And they allow you to do that?
You can come back on, yes, you can come back off the retired list. However, my friend said, Lanny, we would love to have you. However, we really need young corporals and not old colonels. So we can't bring you back on. So shucks.
I know, because it's a good feeling to be able to serve your country and know that you're, helping. I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like support and stuff like that, where you're,
Right.
if you can at least go over and be in the fight, then at least you're there helping to support the.
Well, you're supporting your country and you're supporting your fellow military people. In my case, that would be the Marines.
Right. I always looked at it because I was Army, but I always kind of looked at it as, and I say this all the time, anybody that puts on the uniform gets the honor,
That's exactly right.
Army, Air Force, Marine, Navy, Coast Guard. Now we have Space Force.
No, we have that. Yeah, a lot of times now, and it makes you feel good. People will say, "Thank you for your service."
Right.
And my standard response is, "It was my privilege to do so," and it was. And I would do it. I'd do it again.
I like that answer. Say that again, please.
It's my privilege.
I like that. That is a very good response. I go up to the commissary and I'll see a lot of active duty military up there, and I'll go up and I'll say that to them, and sometimes they don't quite know how to respond to it, or maybe they're a little I don't know, shy or embarrassed or something like that maybe. So
yeah, I think there are a lot of are shy. I know there's one cashier that says that, and I'll say, and thank you for your service. He said, yeah, but you went first. And so we have this little tit-tit conversation checking out there. But no, it's so much better now than during the Vietnam era when no one was thanking you for anything.
And there's so many different changes that have happened over the decades with military service. I had a few women in here that were women Army Air Corps, and interviewed them, and they talked about each their own different experience and what they experienced. Like one said that once she got pregnant, you had to get out, and then the other said that she was allowed to stay in and with her husband, and they would be able to go with joint domicile, I think is what it's called. And a lot of very good and interesting stories, and a lot of good positive changes that have been happening throughout the decades.
Oh, it's been a tremendous progress from when I first started, from both gender and ethnicity and so forth.
Right.
And I've served with some very fine women Marines, and just thought the world of them. Great people.
I agree.
And I would have them on my flank anytime.
Well, and there was, trying to think of when it was. We were talking about you retired, and what did you do? I know I cut there, but I lost my train of thought. So after you were done, and you said that you retired after 30 plus years, full colonel, and went back to Phoenix, and what was next for Lanny?
Well, I was a high school principal
Oh,
And had Marine Corps training was
yeah,
more helpful doing that than any
yeah,
college
I
of
can
education.
imagine.
But I was a high school principal.
What year?
I was actually high school principal at the same time I was active in the Marine Corps Reserve. I could do that,
Okay,
so that worked out. Worked out great. I started in public education in 1961,
okay.
and then just kept going through the process until I was able to retire from that. And then, as a civic duty, I got very active in healthcare. And ultimately, here in Sierra Vista, I was chairman of the board of trustees for Sierra Vista Regional Health Center, and was pretty active in getting the new hospital built here for the community.
Which is a nice facility too.
Yeah,
Very
Canyon
nice.
Vista is a very, very nice facility, and it and the Legacy Foundation have joined together to initiate an event that happens once a year honoring veterans. It's called the Veterans Wall,
Right.
and 12 veterans who served in the military and who are residents of Cochise County are selected, and their picture and their citations telling what they did for the community hang on the wall for a year at the hospital in the lobby near the gift shop. And then normally around Veterans Day, they're replaced with 12 others. So we're soliciting nominations now, and have until the end of August to submit them. And the applications are available at the hospital or at the Legacy Center.
I tell you, I think it's a great honor to be able to nominate someone because usually when you're nominating somebody for that, they are quite active in the community. Oh, geez, there's just a lot of good things you could say about them. But I got to be honest with you, I did not know that that existed until I saw your interview with Kathy and Dan last week when you were talking about that.
Yeah, it's been in operation since the hospital opened.
Right.
It was not, we had to put it on the shelf last year because of COVID. But ever since 2015, each year, this will be the fifth year, or this will be the sixth year that we're doing it. So we've honored 60 veterans, men and women, from all branches of the service except the Coast Guard. And
Really? No Coastie?
we have never had any Coasties nominated.
Wow.
So if we have any Coasties out there, the nominations forms are available for.
Or if you know somebody,
or if you know somebody
that's a Coastie,
right?
get them nominated. Definitely.
Exactly. So it's quite a honor, and the idea behind it is that when we were decorating the hospital, we had a committee that was selecting paintings and photographs and so forth. And as a group, we were talking, and I can't remember to this day who it was that made the suggestion, but the thought came up is that we're a military community here in Sierra Vista, and
Right.
that we should honor our veterans. And so the conversation kept going, and finally somebody said, well, why don't we just have a veterans wall? And so away we went with that. And the first year we had 12 individuals, and 12 individuals every year. Now, there's nothing magic about the number 12. It's just
Right.
that's the size of the wall that we would accommodate the pictures. So that's why we had that number.
Well, the Warrior Healing Center does so many amazing things for our veterans here in this community. And I can't remember what the whole story is. I'll have to ask Kathy sometime or maybe get Beth on there. But there's also some kind of honor thing out here in the hallway here at the Warrior Healing Center, if I'm not mistaken.
They have the Arizona Hall of Fame.
Arizona Hall of Fame.
Veterans
That's it.
Hall of Fame. And I've seen your plaques out there in the lobby. And that's an honor to on the statewide level of individuals who have served.
How's that? How did people get nominated for something like that? Do you know?
I'm not all that familiar with the Arizona veterans other than to know they do put out a call for nominations.
Okay.
I think they do it in the fall, if I'm not mistaken. But they put that out, and then individuals are nominated, and it goes to Phoenix, and there's a selection group there that does it. But we have quite a few from Sierra Vista who have been honored by being on both the Veterans Wall and also the Arizona Hall.
Right. I know Stu Carter's one of them.
Yeah, Stu Carter, They're Bob Strain, Tom Hessler, Dave Lambert, Jim Cohen, Mike Biacchino. So
Well, I'm impressed that you know those names. That's pretty good.
I've been involved with it. I was one of the ones that got it started. So
Oh.
I can remember some of the folks there.
Well, as a veteran, thank you for doing that, because I tell you, it's a very touching thing to see something like that be done, because we do get quite a few Vietnam veterans that come in here to the center, and as you know, they didn't get that hero's welcome home.
Right.
And it was always a sad story to hear about what they still go through. I mean, oh my gosh,
yeah, that was really a tragedy that shouldn't have happened in the way they were treated when they came back.
no.
But it certainly has made up for it now in the way that our veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan have been treated with respect, as they should.
Right, as they should be. I can't think of anything more horrific. Well, the attack obviously in Pearl Harbor, but more horrific than what happened on 9/11. And it's sad that it takes something like that to happen in our country, to get the patriotism and to get us together as a country and come together and put aside all of this divisiveness that's going on. And here we are, 2021, and we're back at it again.
Yeah.
We're all back at each other's.
It would be really nice. The word unity is very important. And last Sunday, our minister talked about unity and made some very good points. Talked about how unity functions in nature. How animals will even band together to help a wounded animal.
Right.
And this concept that unity is much better than divisiveness.
And I couldn't agree.
That would be so important if we could stop fighting each other and start working together.
I agree 100%. Tell us a little bit about some of your daily activities. What do you do around town here?
Well, a few things to kind of keep busy. I'm on the advisory board for the Salvation Army. And
Okay.
Of course, the Salvation Army has the Family Center down on Wilcox. And our big project right now is trying to get the thrift store reopened.
I was going to ask you about that. I'm glad that you brought that up. What you do? Obviously, you probably do know why it closed.
Actually, I don't.
No? Okay.
And let me explain, though. The thrift center did not belong to Sierra Vista.
No?
The thrift center belonged to the Salvation Army's Adult Rehabilitation Center in Tucson,
Okay.
in Phoenix. And they had a thrift store here that was being used to support the rehabilitation center. And for some reason, it was closed. And I've
Okay.
never found out why it was closed. I've heard some different explanations, but they weren't really that substantial. So I don't know why it was closed. But the advisory board, after learning that it was going to be closed, got busy and has been working for about a year and a half now to try to get permission to reopen it. And we're hoping that we can get it going, because
That would be great.
It's a supporting activity for the facility here in Sierra Vista, which we do now own. So the thing would be here. So I do that, and then I also write a column for the Herald.
You do?
Bi-monthly column. Normally it's around healthcare and
Right.
social issues. And then I teach online for the University of Phoenix. So that, and then whatever my wife gives me to do.
Honey-do list,
I
right?
get my honey-do list and get going with that.
One of the things, going back to the Salvation Army thrift store real quick, because this was back in 2011 when we had the Monument wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, because you're talking about how people were going there and it's how it's a good thing of support for our community, is that when there are victims of wildfires or whatever their case may be, it was nice because you could go into the Salvation Army and they would give you vouchers. And you could go in there and you could get like up to $300 worth of clothing. And so, yeah, and the St. Vincent de Paul, we got the Goodwill, the Army thrift store up on Fort Huachuca. I don't know if that's still open or not.
Oh, yeah. It's open.
I hope it is.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a couple of days or so a week, and every day that it's open, the parking lot's full.
Yeah, well, we need to support these thrift stores, and I hope that we can get that Salvation Army thrift store back up and running. That would be great.
Yeah, it really would be, because it would be a service to the community in terms of, providing an opportunity to get clothing or something like that if necessary, plus the financial rewards from it that we can
Yes.
then use to support other Salvation Army activities here in Sierra Vista.
And when they built I consider it a new building, but when they built the building there for the Salvation Army, they do quite a bit for our veterans. And not, you don't have to be a veteran, obviously, to go there,
Right.
but they do offer like meals. And I noticed they were doing vaccinations out of there at one point. So there's a lot of good things that,
Oh, yeah.
that they're doing for our community.
Well, they really are, and of course they support the veterans and the community and different
Right.
things such as that. But the facility is really a great family center, and there's a chapel in there, and then the meals that they serve daily, Monday through Friday at noon, are really very good.
Is it just at noontime, or do they serve dinner
They
time too?
normally just serve it during the noon time.
Just at noontime? Okay.
And at times, I volunteered with the Legacy Foundation on St. Patrick's Day. We always serve corned beef and cabbage.
Okay.
Didn't do it this past year because of COVID, but hopefully we'll be able to do it again this coming year.
I tell you, that's one of the things I love about living in Cochise County so much is all of these different service organizations, veteran service organizations. We all pull together and help each other out. At the VFW allows the DAV to do chicken fried steak there one night a week or one night a month. On the Legacy Foundation dinner where were they doing that at? Do you know?
The Legacy
that Legacy Foundation, when you said that they were doing the
corned beef and cabbage. That was at the Salvation Army Family Center. It was so
it was done there at the Salvation Army. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I wasn't sure because I didn't know if they had their own facility there or.
No, the Legacy Foundation has been very supportive of not only the Wounded Warrior Project but of the Salvation Army. So
right.
They've made several contributions. They actually gave the capstone gift to finish off the family center that now exists there, because the facility that was used before by the Salvation Army was just pathetic. It was
right.
They couldn't make any of the meals. They had to cook at the church, and then they would bring them over in hot vacs to serve. And because the kitchen there was so small and was not a commercial kitchen, and you couldn't get two people in the kitchen. You had to take turns standing. I went to inspect it to see if they really needed the donation, and I can still remember I did the mashed potatoes, and I had a heck of a time trying to do it with people on my back and every place else.
Right.
Said, yeah, they need a new facility.
Well, since we're talking about the Legacy Foundation, I wanted to keep the focus on them for a little bit because I personally had not heard of them until recently. And when I became involved with the DAV, obviously they're right across the street. And then I started interviewing veterans here at the Warrior Healing Center on the live stream. And almost every veteran that I've interviewed that has been involved with our community service, with no matter what they're doing, whether it's food boxes or you pick it, somehow the Legacy Foundation always gets mentioned. They always seem to be involved in one way or another, and a very great organization. So if anybody from the Legacy Foundation is watching this, thank you very much.
Well, I'll make sure that they get a copy of the link to this. But the Legacy Foundation it's an interesting situation, because when we were the Sierra Vista Regional Health Center, we wanted a new hospital, but we could not afford to build one. So we went through a process of interviewing different healthcare systems and decided that with regional care at the time, that what we would do is that we would lease them the hospital facility for 40 years.
Okay.
And that then we would take the lease money that was all paid up front and use that to build a new hospital.
Okay.
And we did. So the hospital here, the buildings, belong to the Legacy Foundation.
Okay.
And Canyon Vista leases it. They have a 40-year lease on the use and operation of the facility.
Wow.
So there's a linkage between the two that isn't, that evident in Sierra Vista here. But one of the motives of the Legacy Foundation was to be a helper in healthcare and wellness here in southeastern Cochise and part of Santa Cruz County. So they've been very active. The executive director is a lady named Margaret Hepburn, who was the CEO of the hospital. She is a nurse.
Okay.
And she has brought the Legacy Foundation since 2013 into a very prominent and very helpful and very supportive organization here in Cochise County.
Well, I have noticed, especially since, I hate saying this word, but COVID-19 came about, how great our hospital was and how it stepped up, and all the all the safety precautions that they had in place with the checking of the temperatures. They had stations set up, and our medical people that are here in Cochise County, and there's so many of you, thank you for what you do, because we know that you're out there putting your life on the line for us.
Oh, yeah, you can't really thank them enough. And you're right, Canyon Vista is an excellent hospital here in Sierra Vista, and we're pleased and proud to have them with us.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that's near and dear to your heart?
No, this has been a very, very interesting and experience here, and I certainly enjoy the opportunity to participate. I do just, again, want to encourage anybody that wants to nominate somebody for the Veterans Wall to do so. You have until the end of August, and honor a veteran by nominating them.
And I would like to ask you what that link is, because what I can do is I can type it in the comment section, or maybe I'll try to ask Kathy and see if she could put it up in the header.
Yeah, I don't have the.
You don't have the link?
Don't have
Okay.
the link here.
I'll get that from her.
We can get it there, yeah. Or they can come drop in into the foundation's office, which is across the street from the DAV.
Right.
And I might mention that the DAV space there in the college was part of the gift agreement to the college.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and hope we'll get some interest in the Veterans Wall this year.
Well, I got to tell you, too, that DAV facility is really, really nice.
Yeah,
and it's serving quite a few veterans that have been coming in that need help with their claims. So, again, thank you. So, Lanny, I appreciate you for coming in and sitting down and talking with me this morning.
Take care.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it so much. If you can sit with me here for a couple minutes, I just got a couple of announcements here I'd like to read real quick.
Okay.
And then we're done. Okay, I have to remember today is Friday, August 6th, because sometimes I'll be reading these and I'll be like, that's today. Okay, so today at 10:30 to 11:30, we have the joint service, Joint Service Club of Greater Sierra Vista, there we go, is meeting at the, I don't know where it's meeting. It says VFW on here. So I'm guessing that's where it's meeting at. 10:30 to 11:30 on Friday. I hope I didn't just mess that up. On Saturday, tomorrow morning, we have RWB, the Red, White, and Blue Warriors for Warriors 5K. That's going to be at Country Club Park. Also with Team Red, White, and Blue, on Sunday, August 8th at 7 a.m. is the Red, White, and Blue Ruck. And that's going to be at the Bisbee Coffee Company. And on Monday, August 9th, starting at 17:30 and going to 18:30, we have the 5 Treasures of Qigong, which is a movement, physical therapy type of thing. So if you have any type of range motion issues or anything like that, I encourage you to join it, because it will help you. And on Monday, August 9th at 1800, we have the Red, White, and Blue Bingo Night. Oh, bingo. It's at the VFW, and that is pay to play there. Also on Monday, August 9th, from 1800 to 1900, we have the Auxiliary of Vietnam Veterans of America monthly meeting, and that's going to be here at the Warrior Healing Center in the front conference room. And on Wednesday, so what they're doing for the month of August is they're moving the bagels and brew from Thursdays to Wednesdays. So this coming Wednesday, August 11th, from 0900 to 1100 hours, will be the Bagels and Brew at the Warrior Healing Center. And on Thursday, August 12th, from 1700 to 1830, we have the Flutes for Vet Circle that's here at the Warrior Healing Center. And on Thursday, August 12th, 1830 to 1930, we have the Warrior Headspace and Timing. What that is that's a PTSD support group at the Warrior Healing Center. And I've had a couple veterans that I was helping with claims that had PTSD issues, and I told them about this meeting, so hopefully they'll show up for it sometime, because I think that PTSD needs to be addressed. I think it's a very serious issue, and we need to help support our veterans with that. And lastly, on Sunday, August 15th, at 0700, the Red, White, and Blue Run and Walk Bisbee 1000 will be at Contessa's Cantina parking lot. Okay, that's it. That's all I got for today. Lanny, again, thank you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. Have a good day.
Appreciate it. Everybody, Cochise County, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.